Okay, breakfast time. I'm really gonna need this because I haven't slept too well today and it's going to be a long day, so I really need some fuel to get me going. So, oatmeal it is as usual. Not one of the most Instagram friendly breakfasts, but it's got all I need, and that's good enough for me. Before we head out, I still have to finish some of my projects since the deadlines are coming and I didn't really have time to do that earlier. So at least I will use this opportunity to show you how I actually work. As you can see, I do it on the ground. I can't even remember when I worked at a proper desk last time. And what I like about working like this is it's never too comfortable to stay working for hours without changing your position. Because sitting like this, you will feel it in a few minutes, trust me. So then I have to switch, for example, cross my legs like this, keep on working. Then when it's too much, I switch to a deep squat, for example, again, keep working. And I'm just still moving around, never sitting in the same position for too long. So this actually kills two birds with one stone. First one, you prevent your lower back pain, which a lot of people know so well from working at a desk. The second one is you keep working on your hip mobility, which is super important not only in life, but when doing all kinds of movements, acrobatic locomotion, even calisthenics skills included. So this is how I work. I've been doing it for over 2 years now, I think, and I absolutely recommend it to everyone. Of course, if you have the opportunity, if you work at home and don't have a bunch of colleagues sitting around giving you weird faces, definitely go and check it out. It's worth it. So that's it. The last time I'm gonna hit the best workout spot in Las Palmas. People tell you when you do calisthenics or bodyweight training, you don't need any gear. They're lying. It takes me around 40 minutes to get to the spot, which is pretty far away, but the walk is just amazing with all these beautiful places along the way. Plus, the walking is a pretty nice way of a warm-up before hitting the session. So this is the spot, and to be honest, I'm quite surprised there's no one here because this place is usually pretty crowded. But let's get down to the workout. My practice is usually a mix of mobility prep, skill training, strength training, and I wrap up with working on a flexibility goal. If there was one go-to mobility drill for the upper body, I choose these torso rotations. It always helps me loosen the tension and wake up my back, shoulders, open up my chest and neck. This is how I start my day and almost every practice. It's like a wake-up signal for my body, telling it we're about to do some work. Next, hips. Never skip those, even though you're in for the upper back calisthenics workout. For me, waking up the hips is super important when doing handstands. It might not be so obvious, but the interconnection of the tissue seems much easier to achieve when you get the blood flowing through all the joints and not just shoulders or wrists. So doing these exercises is pretty crucial for me. Also, people tend to skip legs when doing calisthenics, but for me it's so much fun. Whether we're talking pistol squats, dragon squats, or just these mobility drills, it never stops to amaze me that people choose to focus on pull and push only. Every time I give my shoulders extra 10 minutes using bands, shoulder cuff rotations and circles, but I can't show you now because my battery died without me noticing, so you'll get it next time, I promise. Handstand is my love-hate relationship, and I bet a lot of people feel the same way. It's incredible how some days I get to hold a nice handstand for over a minute, and other days I can hold it for a few seconds. It all goes down to recovery, I'm sure. So these days I've been working my way towards one-arm handstand, so that's why I practice these weight shifts and why I paid so much attention to my hips. Also, practicing on the bars or paddlets gives you more comfort on your wrists, and it's a bit easier and safer too. But I don't skip proper handstands on the ground either, since that's the final destination. The weight shifts really test your ability to connect all the body parts with unified tension. And even though individual drills to achieve that go a long way, putting it all together is just another level. I should definitely practice this more often because one-arm handstand is a long-distance run.
but as you can see, I was soon running out of steam. To be honest, it was pretty difficult to stay concentrated, probably due to all that moving and commotion. And when your focus is gone, you've lost the most important asset for skill training. Trying to end the skills part with a very familiar press to handstand, but nope, this was definitely not my day. At least this L-sit to shoulder handstand still worked, and I love the move and really want to get it into a handstand push-up soon. Strength training is all about the basics for me. I try to include both pull and push moves into every session, always focusing more on one particular element. My closest goals are to get a muscle up on the bar, one arm handstand, and a handstand push-up, so I'm doing these controlled pull-ups in 3 sets of 6 to 8 reps just to keep familiar with the move, fine-tuning it for other muscle up progressions like a high pull-up, for example. There's never enough push-ups. Even after all those years, I've been working on proper scapular activation, controlled movement, and interconnection of the whole body. One might think push-ups are pretty easy to do, but if you're paying attention to everything that's going on in your body, you still keep learning new things. 3 sets of 10 reps just to get ready for the next exercise, generating tension by spreading my fingers, keeping the shape solid. Incredible how easily you can make this exercise extremely difficult. Opening the chest afterwards in a downward dog position helps me to reset. It's a kind of a ritual, really. And the highlight of the session, deep pike push-ups. This exercise is so difficult when you're taking extreme care to protract your scapulas. Only 4 sets of 3 reps for me, since I felt that keeping on going would only bring me ego reps, and we don't need those, ever. I try to bring myself on the verge of levitating my legs, and when getting back, I want to stay active and tall, not putting too much weight on my legs. This is one of the hardest drills. I also couldn't resist trying some ring muscle-ups with L-sit at the top. I love this exercise so much, but the rings were kinda slippery here, so I just did a few reps for fun. I wrapped up the strength session with L-sit compressions because I'd like to hit a proper V-sit. So far I can hold it for a few seconds only, still finding the balance, learning to engage my arms to get a proper support. Not always successful, but I'm getting there. And it wouldn't be me if I didn't just do random stuff during my training. So, for no particular reason, I did this V-sit transition even though by this time my strength had pretty much gone. Well, you need to keep things entertaining, I guess. My next goal is pancake, which is something my hamstrings are particularly fed up with. So just to get them going, I love to do a few reps of this transition, activating both anterior and posterior chains. This helps me to loosen up the hamstrings and get them cooperate more easily. And finally, the pancake practice itself. This is a no-brainer. I just try to get comfortable in the position, keeping my lower back as straight as possible, negotiating the terms with my hamstrings and gracilis muscle. I like to do these pulses to floss my nerves, nothing too severe, just gentle conditioning and pushing the limits, which lengthens my hamstrings over time and helps me relax. I try to do this every other day since flexibility, just as muscle adjustment, is achieved by consistent progressive overload.
And that was my last workout here in Las Palmas. I don't know, I always find it kind of weird when you are at some place for the last time, but who knows, maybe and hopefully I'll come back soon because this workout place is really amazing. I really love the fact that there's a lot of people doing all kinds of sports and everyone is so active here. I just love it. Next plan is to go to the beach and have some nice relaxing time, enjoy the ocean for the last time, and yeah, then we'll start packing and head for the airport.
Practice is not only physical, it's also mental, and maybe it's even the bigger part. To reflect on the training, my mental processes, or life itself, there's no better tool than journaling. It reveals so much about you and it helps you to make better choices and stay on track. I highly recommend trying to everyone.
There's like a 6-hour flight ahead of us, so I'm also planning on doing some mobility routine at the airport because these flights, they are just killing me, especially when I'm tall like this. So just real simple mobility routine, nothing too serious because I think I've had enough for today, considering the fact that I didn't sleep too well. And I will need some recovery as well, so I don't want to overdo it. But yeah, I just don't want to be sitting idle and doing nothing, so I think I'll use the time wisely.
So here you can see who's the movement master here and who's not.
We still had some time, so we decided to go for a walk around the block. Walking is incredible. The easiest way to keep moving when life gets busy. Anytime I have a chance to walk, I take it. And because I hate to leave some things unresolved, I got back to the press to handstand, this time landing it without any problems. I promised myself to relax, but this was basically part of my mental well-being, so it definitely counts. And then it was time for us to leave Las Palmas after almost 6 months of living there.
Oh, what a chaos. And if you need another proper workout on the go, get yourself a suitcase with only 3 wheels, and I guarantee you will sweat like hell.
Waiting for the boarding, I had a tiny mobility session to prepare myself for the flight. I'm 190 centimeters tall, so the cramped space of the plane is giving me hell. The mobility flow is pretty simple. I've already had enough movement for one day, so I'm just trying to counterbalance the prospect of long sitting. Besides, there's not much to do anyway. The huge benefit of mobility is you can do it literally anywhere and anytime. You don't need any warm-up, equipment or space. Keeping things light or pushing a bit more, you're always a winner. And in my opinion, this whole idea of a healthy lifestyle and staying in shape is all about these little moments when you simply choose movement over sitting. And just like that, we left the most incredible place to live. The place that taught me so much about myself, that gave me so many opportunities to explore movement and to share my journey with you guys. It was a bitter farewell, but I'm sure it was only temporary. So I hope you enjoyed this movement vlog. If so, hit the like and subscribe, and let me know down in the comments if you'd like to see more of these movement-inspired vlogs that just show how I incorporate movement into my daily life so that you could do the same. See you in the next one. Bye.